Welcome to Golden and Blue, everybody, home of the college football fan. And don't forget about the checklist. Hat check, sunglasses check, Pepsi check, notes check, sources check, and thick skin is a check. And don't forget to sing gear to represent your team and yourself in my background. Send it to P.O. Box 360, Liberty, South Carolina, 29657, and get yourself a shout out. On to the next video. In case you're wondering, these are the teams that we don't have represented for the mini helmets. As you can see, we actually have quite a few big brands that's not represented here at Golden Blue. I do know that Nevada and Cincinnati are on their way as far as mini helmet representation. So get your team represented here on Golden Blue. We're about to hit 13,000 subscribers. And you already know what time it is, so might as well sit down, brace yourself, and buckle up because you are entering the speculation zone. Real quickly, shout out to everybody supporting Golden Blue. We just hit 13,000 subscribers today. Without you guys, it would not be possible at all. So keep watching Golden Blue. Tell a friend, share my videos, hit the like button, leave comments in the comment section, and that's how Golden Blue will continue to grow. So shout out to you guys for making all this possible. This won't be a Get It Gang video, and if you don't know what the Get It Gang is, it's basically a name that came up with a group of people that leave video ideas in the comment section of my videos. So if you think you have a good video idea, just leave it in the comment section of my video. I could be using it on my next video. On to today's video, and it's more bad news for the Pac-12. I was hearing that the Pac-12 actually did have a TV deal on the table. I'm hearing that that's been rejected, and that the Pac-12 presidents are actually wanting George Kliavkoff to try to get it renegotiated a little bit higher. This is not a good TV deal. I'm hearing anywhere between 22 and 25 million per team per year. It's not good at all. So let's look into what some people are saying. This is from Christopher Lambert. First solid info on Pac-12 programs looking into the Big 12. Arizona is worried about enough issues that they have initiated contact with the Big 12. Arizona has initiated contact with the Big 12. Just a dialogue, no exchange of paperwork, just what if talk is cheap. Programs have a plan A, a plan B, and plan C through F. Nothing is over until the presser. Those in the know remember the Big 12 plane turning around mid-air on its way to Morgantown in 2011. So far, Arizona is the only school to do so. So Arizona has reached out to the Big 12. They are talking to the Big 12. But as of right now, the only university that's actually talking to the Big 12. There's others that's interested, but Arizona is actually talking to the Big 12. Jason Shear says this. School presidents and AD informing public deadline of sorts isn't helping. Pac-12 has months to figure out technically, but not if a school leaves. That's why I talked about Arizona. And the sense is that a school leaving is a very real possibility. We are talking about Arizona, people. Brett McMurphy says this. It makes it very challenging for the Pac-12 to get the grant of rights done. And I think the longer this goes on, the public perception is they're coming from a place of weakness. Very, very true. And if the number is not near what the Big 12 got, I think it's a very real possibility that you could see the Arizona State, Utah, or Colorado, any of the group or all of that group could look towards the Big 12. So here's what we're seeing. We're seeing that they were offered a TV deal by Amazon/ESPN, but it was too low for the Pac-12 members. They want George Kliavkoff to try to renegotiate it a little bit higher. And it's so low, the number is so low, it's nowhere close to what the Big 12 is drawing, that Arizona has officially reached out to the Big 12, talking to the Big 12, and other schools could follow. This could be the start of the dissolving of the Pac-12. We know that the Pac-12 has been in a bad situation, but now we're actually starting to see the first steps of the Pac-12 going down the road of dissolving. And of course, you know, I can't forget about our favorite college football conspiracy theorist, MacGyver. Here's what he had to say about the situation. And no, I'm not using him as a source. It's just entertaining, and that's what I do, entertaining videos. He says, I think it's almost time to start the Pac-12 doomsday clock. We are at 5 minutes to Pac midnight. Yikes. He also says, here in GK, George Kliavkoff struck out with the Amazon/ESPN deal. That goes back to they had a deal, but it was too low, and the presidents rejected it and said, no, you need to get the number higher. And it's not even going to the table for a vote. Like I said, they had a deal, but they said, no, we're not even going to vote on it. This is way too low. President's asking him to go back to the networks and negotiate it higher. There you go. Apple negotiations keep putting along at a snail's pace. That's not good either. He also says, my source that has been in talks with someone in the know tells me the Pac-12 issues are cultural at the highest level. There's astonished disbelief happening at a large scale. Either that or willful ignorance. This is bad. I would say it's a little bit of both. George Kliavkoff has taken the Pac-12 down the road of irrelevance. This is not good. The number that they're wanting is nowhere close to the number that they're getting as far as the TV deal. I'm hearing that the TV deal that they're wanting is through Amazon/ESPN. Amazon would get the Tier 1 rights, so they would get the preferred games, and then ESPN would get the filler games for their Pac-12 after dark. The problem is the numbers. And like I said yesterday, the Pac-12 universities are not willing to sign the grant of rights at this point. They're saying the number is way too low. So the presidents are not happy with the number. They're not happy with George Kliavkoff. There was a TV deal on the table. Let me be clear. There was a TV deal on the table, but the number was just way too low for these presidents. And they're like, we're not even going to vote on this. This is laughable. So it was probably in that range of 22 to 25 million. Maybe lower than that. Maybe it was 20 million per team per year. I don't know, because I heard that number thrown out there for a while. So it could be as low as 20 million per team per year. So the Pac-12 cannot get a good TV deal right now. And what I'm hearing is because of that, they're not even going to vote on it. They're like, George Kliavkoff, go renegotiate that thing. This is laughable. This is chump change. I know that we lost USC and UCLA, but we're worth more than this. Come on, man. You're not doing very well. Your idea of giving to the highest bidder has actually backfired. The Big 12, at least they have a decent TV deal. I know it's only $31.5 million per team per year, but that's significantly higher than what we're going to get. Go renegotiate it, buddy. This is ridiculous. Can you not get anything better than that? We're not going to sign the grant of rights if you don't get us a better TV deal. And that is the start of the Pac-12 starting to scatter. Arizona is, in fact, talking to the Big 12 right now. It's preliminary talks. Nothing has actually been offered. But that is the start. The first team to show interest, actual interest as far as actually talking to the Big 12 is Arizona. Now, once Arizona is interested, that can get Arizona State interested, and that can get Utah interested, and that can get Colorado interested. It's not guaranteed that all four of the four corners will go at the same time, but they could get, let's say, the Arizona schools first in round one, and then Utah and Colorado finally see the writing on the wall. Man, we really don't want to go to the Big 12, but it looks like the Pac-12 is not going to get any better. This TV deal is a freaking joke. Arizona State has decided to go to the Big 12. Hey, at least we'll know a few people in the Big 12, and we will be making more money. It's time to go. Because we're not hearing anything from Utah and Colorado. They're being hush, hush, quiet, quiet. In the meantime, Colorado, they hired Coach Prime, and their brand worth has gone through the roof. Their NIL revenue has gone through the roof. So they're making themselves more valuable. I think Colorado is trying to make a play on the Big Ten, and I mentioned that connection where the USC AD used to be the Colorado AD, and maybe he's fed some information to Colorado to say, hey, yes, the Big Ten's sort of interested in you, but because of your football, it'll never happen. So you need to do something about your football. Because the USC AD that used to be the Colorado AD is still a diehard Colorado fan. He went to Colorado. He was a Colorado AD. And as part of his severance package, he actually wanted to make sure that he got continued season tickets to Colorado games. So he could be feeding some inside information to Colorado, and they're trying to boast up their football brand to try to get to the Big Ten. But if that's not on the table, if that's not going to happen, then they're going to have to jump to the Big 12, or they're going to stay on a sinking ship. The Pac-12 is starting to pop holes all over the place, and the ship is starting to sink, and teams are starting to jump, or at least looking to start jumping. George Kliavkoff is not going to be able to negotiate that deal any higher. It's just not going to happen. ESPN is seeing that they're in the best situation. Pac-12 has zero leverage. The only reason ESPN even wants the Pac-12 is to fill that Pac-12 after dark slot. That's it. They don't see any value in the Pac-12 as far as anything else goes. So the Pac-12 has no leverage. They're getting lowballed, as I predicted. I predicted that the Pac-12 was going to get lowballed, and teams are not happy, forcing George Kliavkoff to try to renegotiate the TV deal a little bit higher. Otherwise, they are not signing the grant of rights. And as long as these teams don't sign the grant of rights, they can leave at any moment. Their TV deal ends in June of 2024. After that, there is no TV deal. So to me, this is a sign that teams are going to jump if they don't sign those grant of rights. And it looks like they're not going to sign those grant of rights unless George Kliavkoff can get that TV deal in at least the range of about $30 million per team per year. I don't know if we're going to see a mass exodus, but I do think we're going to see several teams jump here in the near future, at least in the next 6 months. We'll see what really happens. Like I said, this is not a prediction. This is just my opinion. It's a video for entertainment. So I don't know if this is actually going to happen. I'm just telling you what it looks like is going to happen. So y'all let me know in the comment section. Number one, do you think George Kliavkoff will be able to renegotiate the TV deal to where it's at least a little bit higher? Number two, if he's not able to do that, how many teams do you think jump the Pac-12 in the first round and go to the Big 12? Do you think it's all four of the four corners? Do you think it's just Arizona? Do you think it's Arizona and Arizona State, or a combination of those four? Finally, number three, if that happens, how much longer do you think the Pac-12 remains as a Power 5 conference? That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.